Chargers training camp has been fun so far, but early on, I think we're already starting to figure out who's been having a great camp and who has, well, not been having a great camp. Chargers Now is presented by Prize Picks. Sign up for Prize Picks with code HMA and get $150 in bonus lineups if you win your first $5 plus lineup. On today's show, we are going to be going through every player that has been winning training camp for the Chargers, and we're also going to be going through every player that maybe hasn't been winning training camp so far for the Los Angeles Chargers. We're on the road to 6,000 subscribers. We're closing in every single day. Every day, another person comes in and hits that sub button. Another person. Can we get to 6K subscribers by the time that we end up at the start of the regular season? I certainly think that we can do that. That's just 603 subscribers. Hit that sub button and be covered on your favorite NFL team. Let's start with the winners. Justin Herbert, QB1 for the Los Angeles Chargers, in my opinion, has been an absolute winner so far in training camp. Now, it's not because he went in and all of a sudden became this great player, because we all know that Justin Herbert was already a very strong player, a very good player in the National Football League. His last 4 seasons really epitomize that. When he's 100% healthy, it is clear that he is a top 10 at worst quarterback in the National Football League. I personally think that he might be a top 8 QB. When you look at his completion percentage, it's been very high. Yards is very high. Touchdowns high. For the most part, turnovers are pretty low. But there was a clear emphasis this offseason by Mike McDaniel that Herbert had to improve upon a couple of different things. There was a clear emphasis on his technique. Now, while Herbert was having some success, of course, it was largely based on his natural talent and ability. Sometimes we can change up, maneuver our footwork in a different way, change our arm angles ever so slightly, and that could help him get the football out quicker. That's seriously been something that's been a major focal point, it seems like, of every big play of practice. He's also had multiple big plays. It seems like every single day there's something good going his way. There seems to be a big explosive play that we are bringing up here on the show, or other Chargers content creators are discussing on their shows as well. I think that everything around Justin Herbert has largely been positive this offseason, including the fact that, well, he's in a healthy, loving relationship. Anytime you can get engaged to anybody, I'm going to just assume that that is positive, and that's going to make you a winner. As someone who has not been divorced, I'm just going to assume that only positive things happen in marriage. I'll tell you that right now. It is funny to me, though, and I do want to highlight on this, the fact that there are accounts that continue to bring up Madison Beer and Justin Herbert being lovebirds. You could tell they're in love, by the way. That video of them petting each other, whatever that was with the hair, weird, but whatever. Have fun having your PDA. Even Jim Harbaugh is a big fan of their relationship. He seems to think that Herbert is a much more grounded version of himself and certainly is putting his best foot forward. Enough of the relationship talk. We're going to talk about Justin Herbert more so. He's a frickin' beast. He continues to impress me every single day. And I certainly feel like we are in a position now where QB1 is going to be a spot that we see improvement. Not because Justin Herbert had been playing poorly, but because he finally has the weapons. He also finally has the offensive mind calling plays that are going to make things easier on him for his career, or at least for the next handful of years while they are together. Next player that's been an absolute winner during camp, to me, it is wide receiver Tre Harris. Now, some people are going to say, how can you say that he's already a winner? We haven't seen him actually out on the field yet. Well, I'm going to tell you about a couple of the things that I've seen so far during training camp that have been helping Harris out. Before we do any of that, though, I need to let you know that today's show is made possible by SeatGeek. When it's time to get out of the house, there's not many better options right now than a ball game. And with SeatGeek being MLB's official ticket marketplace, your tickets are fully guaranteed and instantly fulfilled in your account after purchase. I was having some fun, was going on SeatGeek's website, and I thought, why not look for some Chargers tickets? Now, you know me, I'm looking for that opening day game against the Cardinals. I'm trying to get as close to the action as I possibly can, and I'm always trying to find the best deals, so I'm looking for those green dots. Whether it's a Chargers game with the special lady friend or a Co-Wetzel concert with the boys, SeatGeek has your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. So look for the green dots. Green means good. Red means bad. And of course, I have a code for you guys. You can use code CHAT10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with the promo code CHAT10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you so very much, SeatGeek. Tre Harris has been absolutely fantastic in camp, and that makes me think that this stat line that he had last season is going to be much improved. When I look at that year for Harris, I would say that it was slightly disappointing. I don't want to say that it was largely disappointing because I feel like the entire offense had a disappointing year. You didn't have a receiver over 1,000 yards. It felt like maybe you could say Gadsden, from a receiver tight end standpoint, had a little bit more success, but everyone seemed to be ever so slightly down. It felt like the Chargers just really couldn't get out of their own way. This year, it feels like from the reports coming out of camp, now this could be a little bit of paying attention to the headlines, but I certainly believe this from all the different things that I've seen. I think you're going to see a lot of improvement from that wide receiver room. Mike McDaniel is clearly a big fan of Tre Harris, and I think we are going to see Harris on the field a lot more. It seems like in camp, he's doing the right things, putting his hands on defenders in the blocking game. He's getting open, making plays. I've seen him score a couple of TDs already. I just believe right now the Chargers know that they have a player in Tre Harris. Let's talk about Akheem Mesidor next, because he is my next winner for this Chargers team. Now, some people are going to look at what Mesidor is doing and what he has been so far. I think that he is just going to be an absolute star in Los Angeles. He was exactly that when he was at Miami. He had a big final year for the Hurricanes. He completely took over games. He showed that he is an absolute animal when put on the field. Now, the reason why he got to the Chargers in the 20s of the 2026 NFL draft is because he's a little bit older. And there was a worry about, hey, if he doesn't hit the ground running, will he ever be able to figure out what he is as a player? You're not going to be able to be super comfortable trying to give him that second contract. Well, here's the thing. Mesidor has been a true professional. He's the first one out on the field. He's out making plays. He's constantly talking to coaches, players on both sides of the football to try and figure out how he can improve himself. This is a good thing. Why is this a good thing? Because he's showing that he already had the mentality of a NFL professional back when he was at Miami. He's showing already that he's going to do what it takes to make sure he is out on the field for as long as possible, playing as well as possible. Mesidor has shown that the Chargers did not make a mistake when they went and used such a high draft pick on him, because he's already making an impact on this team. And I think in the long run, that is a great thing and a winner for him. Avery Smith, let's talk about the cornerback right here, right now, because this kid out of Toledo has been sneaky making a lot of plays for the Chargers during camp. Now, when he was in college, it was very clear that Smith had the ability to have some success. He was great at keeping his hands on receivers without getting calls. He's knocking footballs down. If a guy does make a catch, he's not afraid to get them onto the ground. He has certainly shown himself to be a very capable player when it comes to that cornerback position. And the Chargers, I'm not going to sit here and say that they have the most depth at that cornerback spot, but I'm also not going to sit here and say that they have no depth. There's clearly a lot of successful players in that room, and I think that Avery Smith could potentially be one of those guys. It seems like every single practice he did something. He locked someone down. He made an interception. he got between himself and the opponent and the football. I'm telling you right now, this Avery Smith kid, I'm sure I'm not the only one saying this, has a real shot at making this final 53-man roster. Lastly, let's talk about Dame Tucker. If you're a real one of the channel, you know how highly I think of Dame Tucker. He is a absolute game changer and a game wrecker, and can be that for this team. He has shown that he can get after the passer. He's obviously played for defensive coordinator Chris O'Leary, and that's really important. What Dame Tucker is going to be able to bring to this team, and what I think he's going to be able to bring to this franchise, is a blue-collar workers mentality. Tucker had a lot of success at Western Michigan. 14 and a half sacks is nothing to shake a stick at. But he has shown that while he might be slightly undersized, he might not come from one of the big schools, he still is able to make plays for this team. He can make this team by absolutely working his ever-living you-know-what off. He's not afraid to do that. He has shown during the few padded practices and mostly through the non-padded practices that he can have an impact on this team and on the game for the Chargers in a positive way. The more and more that I look at a guy like Dame Tucker, the more and more that I say the Chargers want to have him on their roster from a culture standpoint and also a production standpoint on the field. Will Akheem Mesidor start week 1? That is our Prize Picks question of the day. Let us know, do you believe that Akheem Mesidor will start for this defense week 1? Yes or no? While you're answering that question, let's take a look at my lineup. Today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 sports picks app and is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Let's look at my lineup for the football action going on later on this year. I have the more on Justin Herbert pass yards. I believe the offense will be much improved in LA, and that should hopefully lead to more passing yards for Herbert. That's why I have the more on his passing yards. I have the more on Quentin Johnston receiving TDs. I believe that Johnston will have more opportunities to catch the football with a hopefully improved offense in Los Angeles. That's why I have the more on his receiving TDs. I also have the more on Rashid Shaheed receiving yards. A full offseason in Seattle should help Shaheed build better chemistry with Darnold. That's why I have the more on his receiving yards. New user offer. Best of all, play your first $5 and get $150 in lineups if you win. Just use code HMA when you sign up. That's right. Prize Picks just switched up their offer, so there's no better time to join. Lock in and win that first lineup. That's code HMA at sign up to get $150 in bonus lineups if you win your first $5 plus lineup. Yes, I believe that Mesidor will be starting for this defense. Now, let's get to the losers, because I'm very interested in if you agree with me on some of my sentiment here. My first group, and I'm not calling out anyone individually, I'm just saying it's the left guard position battle. I think after the lack of success that this team had last year on the interior of the offensive line, there would have been a greater emphasis on getting this crew ready to go sooner. And it feels like there are 5 guys who have a legit shot to end up getting the starting position at left guard. When you look at the depth chart for this team, you have seen tackles, you've seen guards, and you've seen a lot of different guys jump into that role. I kind of of the belief where if you have 5 left guards, you don't really have any. Like, this isn't a situation where you drafted a guy and he came in and he was awesome and the left guard that you already had was above average and they got into a battle and then you're excited because it's iron sharpens iron. It just kind of feels like the Chargers thought that they were going to be able to find someone for the cheap and fix that role in. And I don't know that they really have. I don't know that I love that the battle is this close still with a decent amount of camp still left to go. Feels like no one's really jumping ahead in any way. And I think we all hope that someone, specifically a young draft pick, would have been able to do that. The injured crew, that's the next group of losers. Again, not calling them losers per se, but it feels like the stock is down. And this one's really simple. You can't make the club if you're in the tub. You got to be able to perform for this Chargers team. You got to be able to perform if you are going to play in the NFL. To play in the NFL, you got to be out making plays every single day. If you're in the club, if you're in the tub, you can't make the club, and you might be going to a different club on Sundays. Lastly, the National Football League. And I don't mean to really poke fun at anybody else. I don't mean to sound the alarm bells, but I'm telling you right now, this Chargers team is really good. And if they live up to everything that they can be, you're going to want to watch out. They're really talented. I think the world of this team, and I think there's going to be a lot of improvement this year in Los Angeles. Thank you guys so much for viewing today's video. I cannot wait to see you guys next time. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss any news around your favorite team. I'm going to sign off, but before I do, I got to leave you with a Bolt the Freak Up.